Hello. I wish I could remember the first video I ever saw on YouTube. How many people can remember their earliest experience navigating this site? I know it's crazy to imagine that for a lot of people alive right now, this question is pretty much irrelevant since they take it for granted because, well, they were born with the site already existing and being normalized, but a lot of us, not even that old, still remember living years of our lives well in our youths and not even being on the internet, yet alone YouTube even existing. I myself started using the internet right around the same time where this site was already emerging. So my experience with the internet is entangled with it. I, for more that I can make an effort to try to remember exactly what was the first video, it must have been nothing special really. I still wish I knew. One thing that I can remember is that if it must have been something that somebody showed me in person, not in a computer lab I used to attend to, or something that somebody shared on MySpace. I still almost 80-90% chance remember the first video that I ever shared. This must have been on MySpace, and this must have been this video or this one of those two. Probably uploaded like a month ago back then or something crazy, right? Getting to the subject, one thing that I also remember very vividly is the original rabbit holes that I would get into, like actually discovering the things that you could find in YouTube because it was so new. And like the two rabbit holes that I remember getting into immediately when I discovered that this existed. First was old propaganda cartoons. That was like a thing that I immediately got into. Like I was fascinated. I just kept exploring and exploring and exploring like uh, Nazi cartoons and like communist cartoons and just one thing got me to another and to another. It was like so crazy and it was so fascinating. I discovered Russian animation because of that, and I discovered another thing and another thing, and I started getting into more history of cinema and whatever. And the other thing was scary videos. I remember very vividly from a friend that I met in that computer lab that I was talking about back then, back in 2006, 2000, late 2005 maybe, 2005, 2006. He would come up to my house sometimes, and a lot of times he would even like spend the night here. So a lot of the things that we used to get into was scary videos, GTA secrets, and scary videos. Like we were all about that. I can still very vividly remember the moments there in front of the computer exploring and watching scary videos like real ghost video caught on for real scary compilation real phenomena proof, and I'm not sure if this was the first one that we really got into, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen it by now. I'm gonna be exploring personal videos that I actually experienced when they came out. I have a lot of them, but I chose the ones that I could remember at the top of my head because they made an impression of me. This one made it viral enough to escape the circle of just Spanish YouTube, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people know it now. A lot of people have seen it. I remember I saw it, we saw it, and we were like super astonished by it. And I remember we saw it a lot of times, right? And we couldn't really fucking imagine that this was like way before AI videos, obviously. Before fake videos became such a trend later on, like this was a completely different landscape on the internet. This was right out of the television era. We were still used to television, completely different reality back then. A lot of people's accounts back then consisted on just personal archives of their family videos that nobody would ever watch because that wasn't even the intention. And overall everything was just very organic. So seeing stuff like this made it so much more real. Plus it looks very real. It was, for as cheesy as it sounds, it was kind of magical. It was something that we couldn't comprehend. We couldn't really explain. It gave us that tingling sensation of we just kind of saw an alien coming out of nowhere, right? And then we just kind of forgot about it. We just moved on. Nowadays, upon re-seeing it, the reaction of the kid is kind of eh. But that's just because it's like 20 years after watching so many content on the internet makes you, let's just say, wiser. Still, the alien thing, it's very convincing. Look at it. It's not a CGI thing that was edited there. It's there. But look at it. How? Well, I never imagined I would ever actually find out the truth behind this video because it never actually occurred to me to look for it after all these years. Yeah, it was a prank from some boys in Merida that just wanted to goof around and made something really remarkable actually. Like it looks so good. I mean, it doesn't look really good because it was recorded with like a floppy cell phone made out of like peanuts and wires, but still, it looks really convincing. But turns out the truth about this video has been known for a really long time, and it just never occurred to me to actually look for it. And the video explaining the thing, it's actually almost as old as the video itself, which I am going to show you in its full glory, since I feel it's also it's a gem. It's a masterpiece.
La revista Misterios fue el primer medio de comunicación en dar a conocer el llamado caso Alien del Poste. Desde
The ufologist shades. Oh my god. 2005. This video is from 2005. I am not adding the music, by the way. I'm showing you the video exactly as it was made. Oh yes.
cuando te acercas al poste, ¿qué fue lo que viste?
Pues yo no vi nada, solo sentí que, o sea, que me jalaron y ni siquiera volteé a ver quién era. Solo dije, ay, me jalaron y me jalaron. Como en ese rato,
I love their accents, by the way.
con el balón, pues él seguía grabando.
The Yucatecan accent, I love it.
Entonces cuando tú solo sentiste algo, pero no viste
You don't
nada.
know it.
Solamente en el video se ve.
Pero ese día no vi, al día siguiente.
It sounds like this.
Corrieron.
O sea, porque ellos los estaban grabando, yo corrí cuando me agarraron.
So these are the kids who you see in the video, and they're explaining like what happened. This video went viral for a long time as true evidence of alien visitors, right? Coming from a portal or something like that. It was mainly advertised as such by two investigators, uh, mainly in Mexico, Jaime Maussan and Carlos Trejo. Those two are a complete separate can of worms, but they don't have a good reputation. But they just let it slide as true evidence because they just saw it and they were like, "Yeah, look at it. It looks very convincing." So it's true. And the boys here, they appear very natural, even in the interviews, right? They just appear casual and natural. It's hard to distinguish if they're telling the truth or not. So, one thing that I never really noticed back when I originally saw this video back then was the trajectory of the ball. You're so focused on the post that you never. It's like one of those magic tricks, right? When they redirect your attention to something else and you miss very obvious stuff that was right up in your face. This kid was supposed to go and grab the ball that fell off over there, like in the distance, right? And he's supposed to go and grab it. And turns out that the ball falls somewhere else completely different, but they were probably confident on the fact that the quality of the cameras back then was so low that people weren't really going to pay too much attention. And what he pretends to grab is actually a rock that was there all along. But me, as a lot of people, probably most people back then, thought was that the object that he supposedly tries to pick up was the rock, right? So that's immediately a huge red flag. But the most important thing is how they actually did the effect of the post. And they even made a recreation of it, which turned out to be actually really easy and really obvious. You just need somebody really skinny. Look at it. Look at that. It's incredible, actually. You would never imagine the post is so thin. You just need somebody really skinny. Look at that. It's mesmerizing. Very clever, actually. They explained later on that the rest was actually a mask, a latex alien mask, and like a fake arm that the kid was holding to to make it look more abnormal, right? His arm was like super long, like unnaturally long, and because of the natural blurriness of phone cameras back then, it's indistinguishable. It's just like, wow, they pulled it off. What do you know? Props. What I love is the interview that they made to another kid that knows them. Is so smug, and he's telling you the inside info, and look, he's owning that moment. Look at him. It's in all of his smugness. He's owning his 15 minutes of fame. I wish he could have done something about his horrible haircut. This is the haircut you went for. In your 15 minutes of fame, your spotlight, you're giving the true inside information about the most viral video in the universe in 2005. Honestly, it kind of looked like that back then, to be honest. Minus the gratuitous amount of hair gel, but But yeah, to be fair, no, I wasn't really. Yeah. So yeah, he knew them, and he confirms that yeah, they just wanted to prank everybody. They just wanted to punk, and they did it. And I found out in this article that one of them, they said it's the guy that grabs the ball. So I'm guessing it's this kid. Years later, got arrested by the police, drugged out of his mind, in possession of a sharp weapon. So there, okay. Putting this behind now, I want to go back somewhere around the same time. I don't remember exactly how long, but somewhere around the same time. But I still was watching television. And one of the shows that I would watch a lot back then was this show called Incognito. I can't believe anything made by Facundo is cozy and nostalgic now, but it is. For all those people who obviously don't know what I'm talking about, Facundo was pretty much the closest thing that you could get to, like, I don't know, like a Mexican Steve-O, something like that. Not even remotely close. But he was sort of similar like that. He was a celebrity known as this rowdy rascal who would appear in TV, making pranks and like edgy skits that teenagers back then used to think it was so cool, right? Which, by the way, my mom was actually a fan. She would watch the show and she would find it funny. And it's a whole thing, but to this day, she still quotes "que lo hagan ellas." Let them do it, "que lo hagan ellas," in reference to one of his most popular skits, in which he played this socialite playboy who was like a vigilante hero, sort of. People would call him to solve their problems, and because he was like known for that, I guess, for like being this sort of hero, this superhero or something like that. But his gimmick was that, you know, he would always appear drinking wine and being all smug, and then reading a letter for somebody, and then they would they would ask him for help for like that problem that they had, and he would be like, yeah, yes, sure, I I will help you, but I don't really feel like it, so I'll let them do it, referring to girls that he had as like hench girls, and it would just be followed by a montage of the girls in like scandally uh, bikini cladded, just like doing the set task, and that was it. Yeah, but the quote was I'll let them do it. Que lo hagan ellas. And to this day, my mom still quotes that whenever she's referring to something that you need to do, but you don't want to do it, so you let somebody else do it. His other most famous skit that I can remember was uh, Jaime the Goblin, Jaime Duende. In Spanish, Duende encapsulates a wider range of a creature that can also be like a gnome or something like that. But yeah, it's more. It looks more like a gnome, but it's a goblin. Uh, and he's this supposedly real goblin that is just a guy with like a mask, uh, who is married to a human woman and is an alcoholic and abusive to his family, and that's the joke. and and all of his skits would end up with him peeing his pants and and yelling at, "Oh, I peed myself." Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of that's the kind of stuff I was watching back then. A lot of the segments that he would show was just like random stuff that he would do, right? And one of the segments was him just doing whatever. And one of those whatevers was this trip that he took to a cemetery. And I'm not sure if this is as viral in outside of Spanish internet. Maybe, I'm not sure. So you already got the idea of the kind of show and the kind of personality that he was. And I want you to picture your reaction to yourself watching the show regularly and then stumbling upon this.
Antes de entrar a hacer este programa. Retar
a lo desconocido es algo que no sé si me atreva, pero pues quiero demostrar mi escepticismo. Creo que este es un buen rincón. Si hay algo despierto en este cementerio, bueno o malo, no les creo nada. Y si existe alguien aquí, algún ser, alguna energía, lo que sea, quiero verlo. Háganme algo, no me importa. Poséanme si quieren, métanse adentro de mí. Creo que me estoy pasando un poco. Háganme lo que quieran, no les creo. Para mí ustedes no existen. Para mí todos los que se jactan de ver este tipo de seres, nomás se están enriqueciendo. Ay, ¿por qué me suena el celular ahorita, por Dios? Ay. No voy a contestar. Esta es una casualidad de la vida y no voy a creer que fue una manifestación. ¡Manifiéstense! ¡Son maricas! ¡Hagan algo! ¡Métanse en mi cuerpo si quieren, si existen! Con todo respeto, para los muertos. Algo cayó, pero yo lo considero una piedra. Cualquier otro hubiera dicho que es una aparición o bla, bla, bla. No puedo creer que eso dice, porque si esto no lo aventaron los de mi producción. No sé si es cosa mía. No, me estoy viendo algo ahí. No seas idiota. ¿Qué es esto, güey? No, no está nada lógico una niña llorando en un cementerio a las 12 de la noche. Bueno, más. A la 1:30. Me voy a escuchar a alguien ahí. No seas... Amiga, ¿cómo te llamas?
Amiga. Niña. Ay, no seas imbécil.
It's a tonal shift, right? It threw me off. Like, what? You can hear the legitimate fear in his voice, his reaction, everything. And the scene itself is so creepy. I remember it leaving such an impression on me that I put it in this one video right now. So, in a later interview, he actually comes clean with the information of what really happened that day. Turns out that in that segment, they were supposed to do some paranormal investigation with Carlos Trejo, the paranormal investigator that I mentioned earlier with the alien video. And he was a personality of his own in Mexico back then. He was very famous, very infamous, more accurately. I mean, look at him. Do I have to explain more? Just look at him. I don't have to. I'm not gonna go too much in depth about him right now. Just know that he had a bad reputation. Well, anyways, so he's coming clean about that. It reminds me of years years ago, when I was stopped by the police once, and I was stopped by the police in a very, let's just say, questionable area of the city, in a very questionable time a day, and heading to a very questionable spot, specifically a bar where you could get uh, coke and like smoke weed and like it was like, you know, the kind of bar everybody wants to go, the cool bar everybody wants to go, actually, you know, the kind of bar, yeah, the sleazy, uh, you know, don't go there kind of bar, that kind of bar. I was going there, and I actually told the cops that I was going there when they stopped me, and they were questioning me what I was doing there, and I just straight up told them the truth. I told them where I was going, and they were like, "Bro, are you kidding me? You telling me that you're going there?" And I was like, "Yeah. If I was up to something, do you think I would actually tell you what where I'm actually going?" Turned out I was going to that bar because I had these friends who were this like punk ass band who were playing there, and they invited me there, and I was actually going to see them, you know, live. So that's what I was doing, and it didn't occur to me to fabricate any kind of story to the cops. I just literally told them what I was doing, and at the end of the day, they just um, let me go because they were okay. Like fuck off, just go already, just whatever. And yeah, you know, it's a little bit like that with Facundo's story. He's telling you straight up that he was already up to no good, pretty much, because he's straight up going to a paranormal investigation with one of the most infamous investigators in the country, if not the most. It's a meme. It's pretty much a meme of like the your bullshit investigator. That's what it is. You know, the investigation didn't turn out as they liked it. They didn't found anything that nothing interesting happened. So Facundo was dissatisfied with the results, right? Because he thought it was gonna be pretty boring for the show because nothing actually upworth happened. So they were done with that. They left Carlos Trejo behind and whatever, and they moved on, and they were coming back to the studio. But Facundo was not satisfied, so it occurred to him to spontaneously tell his crew on his way back to go to a cemetery because he wanted to spice up the segment, right? So he told them to wait for him outside. I don't know how he got there. He got permission, or if he just like, I don't know, snuck in there. I'm not sure. He didn't give details to that, but that's something I questioned myself how that happened. But anyways, he went there in the dark, challenging the spirits to pretty much teach him a lesson. He was literally like, okay, show me, shut me up. Like, if you guys are really legit, show me a lesson and put me in my place. I challenge you. So he just kept going and going and pushing for forward and kept walking in the cemetery. And he started hearing this sort of cry on the distance, but he shrugged it off at first, for even though it was kind of scary. But he remembered that some time ago in his house, he heard a cry similar to that, and he got scared because he thought a child was crying in his house, and he was like, "What the fuck? Why is there a child crying in my house?" So he got downstairs and he was like searching, and he got startled by a cat that somehow snuck in his house. It's not impossible. It has happened in this house. It's not impossible that a cat sneaks into your house. It's very plausible, so I'll give him that. And yeah, and also because it's true, when cats are in certain moods, sometimes they may cry very similarly to a small child. So he thought that what he was hearing then there out in the open inside of a cemetery was some kind of cat. And then he saw the movement in front of him, and then he started to call out, and he called him a girl. But in the interview, he said that in his mind he was actually thinking it was a cat. And then he saw like the movement and the eyes. He got scared, but he kept trying to think that it was just a cat. And he said that he even told his crew when he got out of the cemetery that he got scared by a cat because he thought like it looked like a girl, but it must have been a cat, and everybody was making fun of him, and they were checking the video on the way back to the studio, and that's where they saw that it wasn't a cat, it was a girl, and that's where it got actually serious. And they came back the next day, now on the daylight, and then they realized that the spot where he saw the girl was actually two tombstones, and the girl that he saw was on the spot where one of those tombstones were, and that tombstone showed to have been the tombstone of a child, and the tombstone next to that one showed to have been the tombstone of a woman that must have been the mother of the girl next to her, according to the names engraved on in there. So that was the story. It's inconclusive, actually. I believe his story simply because of the way he tells it. He just sounds honest about it. He said that in one moment he thought that his crew was playing a prank on him, and that's what I used to think for a long time later on when I would like occasionally remember that one video, and I believed that it must have been that his crew just played a prank on him to make a high rating video. But no, he said that that wasn't the case, because I have seen similar cases that were shown in TV back then of people going to cemeteries and celebrities getting scared and whatever by shadows and stuff like that. And those were more obviously like staged. But this one, Facundo says that it wasn't. What he saw then there was what he actually saw. He was alone there, and what was in front of him was actually a girl crying. The mystery here is that was it just a random girl that was there in the middle of the night crying, or was it a ghost? The thing is that it's not out of the realm of possibilities to think that there was actually a child there, like a live child there, crying for whatever reason. Probably not the one that was buried beneath, probably not a ghost. Probably just like a very extraordinary event of him capturing footage of an actual child there crying in that moment for whatever reason, which is almost as extraordinary as it being an actual ghost, but it's not conclusive. Another thing is just it being staged, but I don't see him as that much of a good actor to have that reaction and just acted so good. And the way he says it later on, and I don't know. For this one, I feel that it's as interesting regardless of what it actually is. The last one is a way more recent one that I just remembered for whatever reason stuck onto me. Even though this can be very easily disproven, this is known as the Soriana Sana. Soriana is a huge uh, supermarket chain in Latin America. It comes from Spain, I think. And this one in particular is supposed to be really famous for having a lot of supernatural events happening, as the one that you see in this video uploaded by this security guard who is doing night shift there and stumbles upon the activity that he's already used to, so he decides to whip out his phone and start a live stream to show everybody live what he actually has to go through on the regular. I'm not sure exactly what it was that made an impression on me. Probably the fact that it was a live stream, the fact that this guy shows his fear with laughter. A lot of times, actually, I show my discomfort laughing, actually. He's so daring at going to this place that is so spooky. I mean, granted, if you are working as a night shift security guard, you pretty much have to be that kind of person who is willing to go into scary places without actually flinching too much. Because otherwise, why are you even working there? Maybe it's the animatronic. It has a very Five Nights at Freddy's vibe to it. I'm surprised nobody made a Five Nights at Soriana video game with the Santa animatronic. Maybe I just saw it with the right mood, on the right moment, the right time. I don't know. Maybe I was watching it during like the night and the dark, and it just like made more of an impact on me. I
Ahí
don't
está
know.
la primera cosa. No mames, no mames. No mames, no mames. Ya me dio miedo. Dicen por ahí al que busca encuentra. Ah, no mames, espera a ver que. Espero que se haya grabado eso. Como que a veces hay algunos. Hay algunos clientes surtiéndose en la noche, ¿verdad? Detalles que no saben que ya están muertos. Son las 2 y cacho. Aquí es donde nadie quiere entrar. Puta madre, mira. Está hecho un desastre aquí. O sea, parece como si se estuviera a punto de desmantelar todo este show. Nada más que hay que tener un poquito de, pues, paciencia, ¿verdad? Vamos a ver. Escuchan un chorro de ruidos por aquí. Bastante ruidos. Mira cómo está desmantelado todo, no manches. Oh. Bueno, así normalmente es. Casi toda la basura es de aquí, de Soriana. Todo lo que te... ¡No mames! ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? Su puta madre. No acostumbro decir maldiciones, disculpen. Es que no hay cómo expresar la evidencia, porque a veces se mueven cosas, se rompen cosas, Y pues cómo uno puede decir, no, yo no fui, si pues tienes... Ay, cabrón. Ese es el Santa Claus que todos le tienen miedo. Aquí es donde se escuchan un chorro de ruidos. En lo personal sí me da 2, 3 quiz. Vamos que cuando grabo me siento más protegido. Miren el Santa Claus, no manches. A ver si podemos captar algo ahorita. ¿Qué hay aquí? Súper. ¿Qué tal, amigo? Un chorre cercano. Hola, amigo, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? No vengo a molestarte. A ver, vamos a acercarnos poquito. No, así me da quiz. ¿Qué pedo? No mames. No tiene pilas, no manches. Espero que esto sea, si se esté grabando, no sé. Esa cosa mide como 2 metros, no manches. Qué pedo, no manches. ¿Cuándo vas a acabar? No manches. Ay, ya me dio un chingo de miedo. Vámonos tantito mejor, no sé. Me voy a quitar la chaqueta porque ya me dio mucho frío. Digo calor. Ay, no manches. Vamos. Si me muero. Ah, ¿cómo estás, Carla Vanessa Olis? Rafa. Ya sé, ¿verdad? No manches, qué pedo. Está horrible aquí, no manches, y huele bien feo. A ver, vamos a ver de qué se trata este amigo. Hola, Santa Claus. Hey, mándale un saludo a mis amigos, por favor. Ay, no manches. ¿Qué pedo? No está conectado, no manches. No manches. ¿Qué pedo? No manches. ¡Oh! Ay, qué pedo, no manches. ¿Estás bien? Ay, no manches. Esto sí da un chorral de miedo, no manches. ¿Qué pedo con esto? No manches, ni siquiera está conectado, no manches. Oye, gordo, ¿estás bien? O sabes que ya mejor me voy. Qué tonterías estoy haciendo. La verdad es que... Uy. Vámonos de aquí.
When I see it now, I'm like, um,
Ninguno de mis compañeros se atreve a entrar aquí.
I don't know. It's
La
not the
verdad es que
same
me da un chorro
anymore.
de miedo.
This video is already, it's only like 6 years old. I don't know the whole build up to it. I'm not sure,
Da mucho miedo.
but because all the scary vibe and everything, the fact that it's
Si vieron
moving,
algo, digan.
and he says that's everybody is scared to go there, and everybody's terrified at that Santa because that Santa animatronic has been there since they inaugurated that one. Soriana, you don't really know when that happened, so you don't really know how old that Santa is. But they always say that everybody's afraid of that Santa because it moves by itself. And that it's not plugged to the power cord or anything, and it still moves. He goes there because he starts hearing noises, right? So he opens up his live stream and captures that footage. But I mean, when you really think about it, you're not really seeing anything that couldn't be staged, right? It's just an animatronic moving in the dark. Really, it looks really scary. But in one part of the video, he shows the console underneath, and as far as I could tell, there's no way to see the cable, the power cord, plugging it to the outlet, but I can't tell. But it doesn't seem to be one of those consoles that has the power cord that is built in the machine, right? It could be one of those ones that you can unplug. So there could be just somebody. I went to his official channel, and he has more videos about paranormal activities. He doesn't have too many, but it's like, are you just capturing paranormal activity left and right? And whenever investigators with actual scientific intent go to try to investigate these things, they never find anything, but you somehow just happen to find it all the time. Not all the time. He only has like 7 videos. I don't know. You can't really disprove that there's not somebody behind the wall there, controlling the Santa, and probably unplugging it when he goes back, because you can see that the Santa is moving, and then he walks away, and then he goes back again. You can give time to somebody back there to do something, and then when you return is when the Santa falls. You 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 could have staged this somehow to prop up this whole scenario to happen, and maybe somebody pushed or even or also pull the Santa somehow with a trend. It's dark. You could use some kind of string or something. You wouldn't be able to see it because it's so dark. Or just somebody pushing it with a stick or something. You could see a shopping cart moving by itself, but again, it's not something that would be impossible to replicate if you tried. I don't know. I found this video scary when it came out. I saw the coverage and everything. Probably the amount of coverage that it got made it more tangible, more real somehow when it first came out, and I was in the right mood to just get scared by something like that. And I saw a video when more people were supposedly talking about testimonies of that same store where supposedly paranormal things actually happen, and some of other uh, former security guards then also tell like their tales, right? Their testimonies. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They could be real people telling their testimonies spontaneously. They could also be like, I don't know, just people pretending, LARPing, or this YouTuber Dross. He's like super famous, and he makes videos like this. A lot of them um, not really based in facts, let's just say. So what could have stopped him from like telling people, either fans or people he knows, or tell, I don't know, something like that, whatever, to just comment in one of his previous videos where he talked about events that happened in to security guards, to comment, hey, mention this other video, right? To make it more real, to hype up his next video, right? About this exclusive, very viral event that happened about this guard that supposedly saw a Santa moving and dancing by himself. You know, it's like it could be like a good publicity stunt. I don't know. It's a fun video to watch. It looks very natural. The reactions of the guy are very like palpable. He actually sounds very believable. His tone, his acting overall is it's sounds kind of fairly legit. I couldn't really find people debunking this. I don't really think this is real. It seems like something that would be very easy to pull off if you wanted to fake it. But it's just a really fun video to watch and getting like a scary mood if you want to. It's more of the idea that if you found yourself in a scenario like this and some animatronic that wasn't plugged to the power cord suddenly started moving, yeah, that would be terrifying. So yeah, I hope this was fun. In case people bared with me with this overly long video, I shouldn't have made it so long, but I did. I'm sorry, okay? Listen, in my videos I talk about subjects that I don't talk about in real life. So whenever I'm doing this, I go overboard. So, yeah, my bad. If there happens to be anybody still listening to me right now, well, I want to tell you that have a nice October. Happy Halloween. Even though editing is kind of a pain in the ass, it's always a pleasure to make these videos regardless. And if I can make somebody enjoy what I do the same way I enjoy making it, then I'm happy about it. Happy Halloween again. Bye. Here, I'll leave something here.